Hey, look at that. Are we live? Let's see, is it still playing the slides? I don't know. Let's look. Hi, I see Chris and I see Crystal. Okay, so you can hear me, but I don't know if you can see me. Can you let me know? I see that I have sound, but are you still seeing the slides? It looks like you're still seeing the slides, so I've got to see how to get those to stop. So let's see. Scale, filter. Let's see. You can hear and see me, Crystal? Yay! Oh, the new software looks good. Okay, awesome. I could not tell what you were still seeing because all I'm seeing is the slides when I look at here. But if you see me, then I'm going to take your word for it. Try to look at the camera. The only thing is my chat is all the way over here. So I'm going to have to move it over. Oh, you can hear and see me. Yay! I'm going to move it over a little bit so I'm not cranking my head quite so much. Maybe I'll move this over a little bit too. Hey, Frank the Bassist here from the Netherlands. Great to see you. How many do we have in the chat? I'm not sure where the head count is on the new software. Yeah, I can't tell. Oh, that's funny. Well, oh, and there I see myself. It's just a lag. That's why I didn't see myself. I'm gonna learn this yet. I couldn't figure out how to make people mods in StreamYard. So today is the day that we move over to OBS. Oh, I wish, Becky, that this was a jacket. It's far more embarrassing than that. Let's see what I can do here in my office. It's a fashion show. Fashion show at lunch. Yeah, it is a leopard onesie. This seems more like a Geek Fork type thing, don't you think, Joel? It is the full-on leopard onesie. We are still in quarantine. Hey, Martin, you made it. Great. Oh, Oakley fan, hi. Oh, I'm getting a good laugh from Becky. Yay. So, yeah, Uncle Yukon, of course, you're a mod. In fact, it's kind of being a mod was tricky. You have to find that person's URL for their channel. I didn't know it was going to be quite so difficult. So it's you and Joel today, because that's what I could figure out before the stream started. Anyway, so here's the deal. I have not been gigging. My gig is playing at church. Oh, I'm not putting in my bassist. There's my bassist right there. I have not, very fashionable, yes, very geek fork. So I have not been able to play at church because we have not been able to have service. We are in phase 2 of quarantine today, which means that we are allowed to, of course it has ears. It's all the rage, right? I'm going to get hot. I can tell you I'm going to get very warm. You're going to see this start coming down. But for now, you get the full effect. Oh, wait. There are socks. There are also shoes, if you wanted the whole production. But I'm not wearing them on the carpet. Oh, of course it has ears. So this all ties together. This has to do with music and bass playing, even though it doesn't. So I'm not gigging. I have no gig, and I am one of those people who rehearses to the gig, and so I've lost a lot of motivation. Leopard lady. We can't. I go to a big church. Sometimes on a Sunday we'll have 2,000 people, and the most people you're allowed to get together right now is 50, as long as they're 6 feet apart. So my church has become a food bank. Really, they're feeding the goal is to feed 250 families every week. And do it all summer. And so today they did a food drive. They're getting produce donated. They have produce coming, 5,700 pounds. Oh, I don't know what that measures out in metrics. Someone quick do the, Dan's in the house. Hey, Dan. Yeah, this is what you came for. You came for this, right? Oh, and Dan, I'm using OBS for the first time. So I'll go back and make you a mod. But I can't do it and talk at the same time. There's absolutely no way because I don't know how to use this thing. Okay, Frank, you get some rest. I will get to the heart of this thing too, and we'll get down to business, what we're supposed to talk about. So I'll make this quick. So our church can't meet. I have no bass playing gig. The church has become a food bank. 5,700 pounds of produce are coming in. Miller Husky, hi! Sorry, I don't know how to make mods very fast. I'd make you a mod. It'll be slow. I will fix it. So we are a food bank right now, and part of that is a drive-through food donation. And so today we did a drive-through and dropped off food, and they asked us to wear costumes. So I wore this to church this morning, a little different than my usual gig. And yeah, now I'm getting hot. Martin, you're the best. I have a super chat from Martin Rios. He says, "Wish I was a mod." Yes, Martin, I will make you a mod as long as you, yeah, I can find your URL. I just can't do it and talk at the same time. If only I had a crystal, right, Dan? Anyway, so my church is a food bank right now, and this is what I wore to make my donation. And I talked, "Hey, Marie." Yes, I'll make you a mod too when I learn how to do that. And so this is what I wore to the food donation this morning, and when I came back, I said, "Do I change for my live stream?" And my husband said, "Of course not." So, what is slow, Chris? So, how are you guys doing, man? It's good to see you. Yeah, Chris, please let me know what's slow. I'd love to see that. I'd love to know. I might not be streaming at the right speed, so I'm in the wide world of OBS. It is great to see all of you guys. I'm going to try to make sure I keep an eye on the chat and an eye on the chat and my camera in two different places. What did Jerry wear? He dressed as a middle-aged man in a trucker hat and a plaid jacket. Oh, wait, that's just what he wears. Why change if you're comfortable? I'm not. It is so hot. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Once you turn the lights on, I might have to open a window. We'll see. So... yes, how is everyone doing? And so I thought I would check in real quick and let you guys know how things are going here. Everybody amongst yourselves, tell me how things are going. Seattle is, thank you, Miller. This is my grown out hair. All it does is curly now. So Seattle is a weird place to live right now. And those of you who are watching world news know that it is a strange place to live. So we've had some events here. And Miller, you check out Miller Husky's channel. She does a really, really great talk about Black Lives Matter. And I loved it. It was wonderful. I was moved. Make sure you check out her channel. It is great. RFS Dance in the House. Make sure you check him out. He live streams on Friday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific. And then Joel, the Geek, at 2 o'clock on Sundays Pacific time. So... getting warm, had to turn on the, might have to, yeah, exactly, I know. Uncle Yukon lives in the same Puget Sound area as we do, and so he knows how the weather is. So it's a little bit warm and a little muggy today. We don't usually have muggy. So, yes, current events. So I have been watching the news a lot. Been watching protests that then turned into kind of an occupation in the Capitol Hill neighborhood. Oh, I'm lagging. Okay. I will be able to fix that next stream. Sorry, this is my first time OBS, so I can take care of the lag. Yeah, see, Miller, she's on it. Make sure you check out. She said everything I was thinking, which was great. I, as well, am a mother of a child with a different color skin than I have, and so I have that, like, experience that she has, and so she talks a little bit about that, and it was wonderful. But the protests in Seattle turned into an occupation. I'm kind of calling it that. The neighborhood's called Capitol Hill, and they called it the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, and then called it the Capitol Hill Occupation Protest, I think. So, oh, you'll get caught up, Chris. I did not produce a video this week during a 30-day challenge because I have been pretty emotionally, I don't know what the word is. Emotionally raw from everything that's going on. But the more I thought about Capitol Hill, I couldn't separate the music from it. The protest that went on for 10 days actually took place where I parked my car to go to shows. We have a venue there called Numos, and those of you from Seattle know exactly what I'm talking about, right there in Capitol Hill, just a couple blocks from the protest. And so, raw. So because so much of the protest has taken place in the neighborhood that a lot of musicians come out of, I thought this was a great time for us to talk about the Seattle music scenes. Yeah, exhausted. Yeah, yesterday I just woke up crying. So, yeah, stuff is serious. And so, but you can't separate Seattle from the music. Oh, I'm sorry, Becky. Yeah. So I couldn't even put together a happy-go-lucky video this time. It just wasn't gonna happen. But I knew if I talked to you guys, I would feel better because you're so awesome. And so I did want to live stream. And I thought we could talk about some of the great music that's come out of Seattle, around Seattle, through Seattle. And that would be a great way to honor some awesome musicians and great things that have come out of my local area. You have to appreciate my mug. This says, editing day. Please do not disturb. Oh, thank you, Crystal, the animal lover. Yeah, it's rough. You know, when you're the mom of somebody who is a person of color, it's really difficult to not imagine things. Let your imagination go wild. So, all right, and Nirvana is from Seattle. Yes, Nirvana. Let's talk about Nirvana. See what I did. Let's see. I talked about what I was wearing, the events in Seattle. I did take a little time off, and I want to make sure you check out Joel and Dan's channel, and Mila's here, so make sure you check out her channel as well. Camille's awesome. So we were going to talk about Seattle musicians, and Nirvana has come up already, so ping, I can take them off my list. Now, Nirvana, not technically from Seattle. Did you guys know that? They are from Aberdeen, Washington, which is out on the coast, not right in the Puget Sound. Washington State looks like a fist, not Michigan. Washington State looks like a fist. This is the Puget Sound, the inlet. Seattle's here. I'm about here. They're from Aberdeen, which is all the way down here. Yeah, Marty knows. So they're from Aberdeen, which is a ways away, but they had to break out through Seattle. And that isn't easy. That's really tough. And Dave Grohl is not from here at all. Dave Grohl is from Virginia. He joined the band later. They replaced their first drummer. And so he's really a Virginia person. Oh, use my other hand. Okay, I didn't know how it was going. Oh, yeah, that's better. So this is Washington State. This is the Puget Sound. I'd say I live here. Seattle's here. Olympia's there. Oh, no, it's all backwards. Olympia's there. And then down here is Aberdeen. So, of course, they had to break out through Seattle. But that's how they went. So Nirvana is really from Aberdeen. In fact, when you drive into Aberdeen, there is a big sign that says "Come as You Are" after the song. So that's pretty cool. And of course, Nirvana for me was my first awareness of grunge. I didn't really know grunge music very well. In fact, I was late to it. In the early 90s, when Nirvana broke, I was listening to a lot of Christian hip-hop music. So I was already in a niche, and I wasn't listening to very much grunge. And then the Christian hip-hop singer started singing grunge, and then it was like 10 years late, and I found out, oh my gosh, Nirvana's so good. I caught up, right? So we have a lot of grunge bands that broke out at that time. So many that I had to make a list. So Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, and then I'm going to throw in Death Cab for Cutie. Death Cab is actually from Bellingham, which is like up here somewhere. I guess we're here. Yeah, they're up here. Anyway, so Bellingham, which is up by the border for Canada. So they're considered Seattle because that's the way they broke out. It's interesting for musicians here because high school during that time. Yeah, I was raising babies during that time, so I don't know why I was distracted and listening to Stuart Curtis Chapman. But anyway, it's hard to break out in Seattle because of the nature of how the United States is built. Like, people will tour and they will go to Idaho and then cut down to Portland and just cut Seattle right off. It's like trying to break out of Alaska. Don't tell Jess. Our friend Jessica Hatch. Check out Gone to the Snow Dogs and Snow Dogs Vlogs. She is a big fan of Nirvana, and Nirvana is the only kind of grunge I really liked. I was never into Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam, so I never got into that much. Oh, Mother Love Bone in high school. That's awesome. Yeah, I kind of missed the whole thing, but I do appreciate some good Nirvana, and it has come out, and Jessica feels the same way as me. I am not a fan of the Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl and his little Virginia thing can go big, but in Virginia, that's fine with me. Let's see. Hey, Theo, I haven't seen you today. Seattle is heavily in the Duff McKagan. Was out in the punk scene in the 80s before the move to LA. Yeah, that really does help musicians who break out of Seattle. They end up moving to LA. Or how do you say it? LA. So a lot of bands do move there. So we're hitting on all the grunge. I want to go back a little bit, though. They're okay. All right, so I'm going to go back just a little bit to Paul Revere and the Raiders. Who remembers Paul Revere? My mom's not on here. She has a migraine today. Paul Revere and the Raiders. Oh, I missed what Joel said. High school, yeah. Paul Revere and the Raiders. That's the first Seattle-based band that I am really aware of because they covered Louie Louie. And I don't know if it was originally their song or another band's song. Someone would have to fill me in. But Louie Louie, and so that song was gained popularity with time so much that there was a whole group of people, Uncle Yukon's on, who were in a movement in the 80s to make it the state song. Which I kind of like it because it's easy to play. Dun, 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 right? I mean, my daughter played it in 5th grade, so I'm all pro Louie Louie, but that's really taking it back if you go back to Paul Revere and the Raiders, because that was my mom's time in the early 60s. So that's going back for Seattle bands that broke out. Didn't want to miss them. And oh my gosh, we can't miss Jimi Hendrix, right? I mean, how about some Hendrix, right? The dude played left-handed without restringing the guitar. And he was a showman. Now, there is a story that Pete Townsend got sent to a Hendrix show by somebody who said, hey, look, that dude's stealing your act. Little Pete Townsend, right? So that is a thing. Like he says, it was created by Richard Berry in 1955, African-American blues singer. Oh, that is awesome. Yes. So Jimi Hendrix, actually it's Jimi, made a great contribution to this city. There's actually a statue in Seattle of Jimi Hendrix, so that's a great thing to go get your picture taken if you come to town. You have to listen to him one day. Yeah. I've got to make my way through all the grunge bands I missed, so I'll do that. Jimi Hendrix, so we can't miss him. I mean, legend, right? Then I want to talk to you guys about the funk scene. I don't know if you know that in the late 60s, early 70s, really around 72, Seattle blew up with a huge funk scene. If you want to see a movie about it, I saw that you could rent it for $2. It's called Weedle's Groove. And it is about the huge funk scene in the early 70s. Quincy Jones, the record producer, is from Seattle as well. You know his his daughter, Rashida Jones. She was on The Office and on Parks and Rec. Anyway, so Quincy Jones was the record producer that helped a lot of the funk bands and knows the funk history, but the funk scene was huge. It was just venue after venue after venue. The Central District, which is the black neighborhood in Seattle, the largest one, was called the CD then for Central District. I know the drummer for one of the bands in the Weedle's Groove movie worked at North Seattle Community College, which is on Broadway, which is where a lot of the protests take place. So all of it ties together, like music and rebellion and human rights, and all of it all tie together. It's this really interesting mix. Quincy Jones is from Seattle, of course, Joel. I think he went to Garfield, if I have that right. Garfield High School. It's the brick one you can see when you drive down I-5 up on the Well, if you're driving southbound, it's on the left. Yeah, Quincy Jones is from Seattle. Isn't he amazing? So, you would remember Quincy Jones also produced We Are the World. So, he's got a little bit under his belt. But you've got to check out the funk scene. There is one name, unfortunately, a white name that emerged out of the funk scene in Seattle that you will recognize. He played in a band that was primarily black, and that was Kenny G, the saxophone player. So, yeah, music is always involved, doesn't it? Isn't it true that when everything changes in the world, there's always music that's right on that precipice? Like, it's such an important role. So, if you ever want to, the funk scene, not a lot of them broke out. It was that whole missing the state of Washington, going to California thing. Check out Weedle's Groove. You will be a better person for it, let me tell you, because that movie goes into depth. I fortunately saw it at a SIFF, a Seattle International Film Festival screening, and a lot of the people that were in the bands were there to answer questions afterwards. So it was pretty amazing. I know you can always pick up a copy of the movie or the soundtrack, or the album. They actually recorded the album before the movie. You can pick those up at Sub Pop, and there is a Sub Pop in the SeaTac Airport. Let's see. Pearl Jam, what do you think of the song Jeremy? Oh, I love the song Jeremy. Yeah, I know that song. That's pretty good for me. Yeah. Yeah, when people feel inspired or angry or sad, it always makes for amazing music. It is true. It is so true. I mean, really, and when we talk about grunge, we're talking about people who are having intense emotions, right? Kurt Cobain, for goodness sake, having very intense emotions and letting them out in music. That's why it was brilliant, right? What CD came from Seattle? Oh, CD is the Central District, Chris. That is the district where most of the black people live in Seattle. They don't live where the protest is on Capitol Hill. That is a primarily white neighborhood. So it is kind of interesting that the center of I'd say it's a mixed neighborhood, Central District. The Capitol Hill, but it isn't really black neighborhood like the Central District, which they call the CD. And that's where they're asking for, I know that they're going to get a community center out of all of this. They're getting a community center in the Central District, so that's really important. And people during the funk scene, white people would go into the Central District to hear funk music. So it crossed all racial boundaries, like everyone was involved in the funk scene. Because if you think about it, funk music involves a lot of musicians, like saxophone players and trumpet players, and so you end up with people of all different ethnicities playing in funk bands. So it really went across races, which was really cool. All right, we've done funk. That brings us into the 70s, and we've skipped right over Heart. Of course, Heart, right? It can't be the 70s without Heart. Heart is from Seattle. Ann and Nancy Wilson formed the band Heart. I don't know the history of it. I just know that my mother played that album a million times. I can't listen to Ann and Nancy anymore. They made a resurgence in the 80s, and I was just like, no, I can't do the Wilsons. I can't do the Wilsons. I love those girls. I love having women in rock and roll. I mean, you cannot beat the voice of Heart, but oh boy. Wow. I can't listen to Heart anymore. There's just no way. All right, then we get into the early 90s. When you think about the whole grunge movement, you really have to think about how music had become all pop music. Like, there wasn't anything going on rock and roll that didn't involve, like, really big hair and jumping, and it got into the smiley rock, so it was a lot of, like Bon Jovi rock, and that was just completely the opposite. Grunge was the opposite. I remember when Charles and Allie Trippy came to Seattle, and they were all disappointed there wasn't anybody wearing plaid. One, they were 15, 20 years later, and two, it was August. We actually have some weather. People don't wear plaid in August, but there's a lot of plaid flannels the rest of the year. Heart had some good stuff. I mean, there were some quality musicians there. I can't even. All right, so now we got through grunge. Oh! You cannot talk about Seattle music and skip this man, Sir Mix-a-Lot. Now, yeah, Crazy on You and Reddit, yes. Pop music became mainstream with boy bands. Oh, yeah. So, we are going to talk a little bit about Sir Mix-a-Lot. Yes, baby got back. You know, you think that he is just this kind of funny guy who wrote this catchy song, but he had a lot of influence and still has a lot of influence in Seattle. He's a producer, and so he's made a lot of people's careers. He has a lyric that his posse's on Broadway, and I did it my way. He's not talking about Broadway in New York. He's talking about Broadway in Capitol Hill in Seattle, where that Capitol Hill autonomous zone is. So it's pretty amazing to think about. It just all crosses over. Yeah. I mean, Sir Mix-a-Lot is just, as far as I can tell, just a quality human. Like, he is just a great person. And so there is another rapper out of Seattle that we will come back to. Can you guess who that is? Anyway, okay. So I'm not going to ignore Christian musicians since I play in church and I listen to a lot of Christian music. We also had Stacio Rico, who came out of Seattle. She was a barista and a singer. Became a singer when she was young. Became very famous in Japan. She had a song called More to Life that I actually heard in the grocery store, so it had some crossover. And oh, good. So yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, about Stacio Rico. And she got so famous, in fact, she had to step away from it and became a waitress in Seattle again after she had become famous. And so we'll get back to Stacy too, because all of this interweaves. I don't want to skip a hysterical, talented, strange bass playing band from Seattle, the Presidents of the United States of America. You have to have a good sense of humor to listen to them. Peaches? Oh my gosh, that is such a funny song. Anyway, the Presidents of the United States of America, their bass player is so funny. He plays a bass, I believe, with 1 or 2 strings on it. Someone clarify for me. But, oh, Loki's so good. Hi, Steve. Good to see you. So, yes, Peaches is hysterical. Okay, so Presidents of the United States of America, and they would do their reunion shows, like every once in a while they have a show. Okay, wait, I'm skipping the whole story. I get so excited talking about musicians. So Presidents of the United States of America had songs like Peaches, someone else throw out some titles, and they got famous, right? She's Lump, right? That was She's Gump by Weird Al. Anyway, so they got famous and they made a whole bunch of money and they went on tour and all this stuff. And then they just quit. They just quit. The lead singer started producing albums for people. And they stayed home. They said they made enough money that they didn't need to be a band anymore and they didn't need to wreck their personal lives. Isn't that wild? I can't even imagine. But, you know, that's not something you hear very much. You don't hear of people saying that's enough. So I give them credit for that. However, they did have reunion shows, and those were in Seattle. I know the last reunion show that I was aware of was at the Showbox. We're losing a lot of our venues. I don't know about you guys, but being closed for COVID has really messed over our venues that were already closing, so we're going to lose more. I think we're losing the Showbox. We'll see. There's a movement to try to save it, but we might be losing it, which is heartbreaking because that one goes back to the 40s. All right. I am not getting the chat anymore. Well, we'll see. Okay. Oh, stop that alarm. Okay. I don't want to skip over Minus the Bear. However, I don't know any songs by them. I know Minus the Bear. I know Minus the Bear because my friend had a very retro-looking house. It was her grandma's, and her grandma had moved to an assisted living, and they filmed a video in her house. So any Minus the Bear fans might know the video, the one that was a split screen. That was in my friend's grandma's house. Or mom's. Grandma's, I think. Yep. Yeah, COVID messed over a lot of venues. There's going to have to be a lot of bailout of musicians. I hope that happens. Traveling gets you sometimes quickly. Yeah, okay. So Uncle Yukon has a good point that traveling gets to people. I love to travel, which is funny because I used to be a person with anxiety disorder and agoraphobia. But I love to travel. I have chronic headaches, and so being able to travel really helps because I go places that are warmer and sunny, and that helps with my headaches because it releases endorphins. Anyway, I love traveling, but when you're doing it for gigs, it's rough. We talked about that a bit when we talked about Walk the Line, right? It's just rough on people that traveling as musicians. All right, since I'm not skipping the Christian bands, I do want to give a little shout out to the Classic Crime. They broke out a little bit. They went to California and came back because they didn't make it. But when I Googled Seattle musicians, up came the Classic Crime. So a little credit there. Joel and I have been to many, many Classic Crime shows. Joel's been fortunate enough to actually work with a member of the band. My kids went to youth group with the pastor of the youth group was married to one of the guys in the band. I mean, it's one of those things that we have all these ties. So, of course, a great shout out to the Classic Crime. And now we've winded back around to our tie-in. I know, all the shows that are canceled. So, but we're talking about Broadway. Broadway is a street about 4 blocks from the Occupy protest right now in Seattle. And it's the main drag. And you all were talking about Dick's Drive-In, that Marie went and checked out the Dick's by the Space Needle because she had heard of it from Sir Mix-a-Lot. Well, this musician filmed a music video on top of the Broadway Dick's Drive-In, which is a hamburger joint that we have here in Seattle, which is really great because it doesn't have a dining room. It's super socially distanced, and they donated hamburgers after hamburgers after hamburgers to medical personnel during the crisis, which is amazing. Everybody's talking about their canceled trips. Yay, TCC. Yeah, I don't want to talk about my canceled trips because I'll start to cry. So, we cannot skip over Seattle's white rapper and his producer, Mclemore and Ryan Lewis. I don't want to skip them. And so let's not skip over Mclemore and Ryan Lewis. So Mclemore, oh gosh, now people are shouting out other musicians, and now I'm thinking of another one. I'm writing them down as I'm talking. So Mclemore and Ryan Lewis, of course, had so many huge songs. Their huge song. Oh, see, this all ties together. My mind is going to explode. Do you know what it's like if you start talking about music with me in person? It's just like this. Anyway, so Mcamore and Ryan Lewis, their breakout hit was Thrift Shop. Now, are you ready for the tie-in? He was singing about a chain of thrift shops that we have here, not the Goodwill, we do have those, but a much bigger chain that we have called Value Village. And he shot his video in the very huge Value Village on Capitol Hill. That Value Village, approximately 1 block, maybe 2 blocks from the occupied area right now for the protest. And when that video was shot, it got so famous that people who hadn't heard of Capitol Hill before wanted to move to Capitol Hill, and they did. From out of town, all over the United States, people came and converged on Capitol Hill to live there. Capitol Hill is a very eclectic neighborhood. It welcomes people of all kinds, all walks of life. They have rainbows for the crosswalks. It's a very inclusive, artsy neighborhood. And when that song came out, that Value Village, oh, they have Value Village in Canada. That's so cool. When that song came out, that Value Village got so famous that the landlord raised the rent and the Value Village lost the lease. And it became condos. This is what we're talking about when you say gentrification. Gentrification is where you take a neighborhood where a lot of different kinds of people can live and you price them out of their own neighborhood. And that's what happened right there in Capitol Hill because of the song Thrift Shop and all of the attention it garnered. So it's kind of interesting. Thank you, Crystal. It is kind of sad. I got to go to the Value Village one last time before it closed. It was so big, and This is a story. My son was going to have surgery. He was scheduled for surgery. And, yeah, landlord. So he was scheduled for surgery, and so he was in a lot of pain. So we needed to use the handicapped stuff to get up the stairs because they had stairs, and there was no way he was going to walk a flight of stairs. So we told him, disability, we need an option. It was the freight elevator. It was huge. Like an elevator is like the size of half of a room, usually. The freight elevator in the Valley Village on Capitol Hill was the size of a ballroom. I mean, it was not that big, but it was huge. Huge. And we had to ride this gigantic freight elevator. It was so funny. But I'll always remember my last trip to the Valley Village in Capitol Hill before it closed was that giant freight elevator. So we've got around to Mclemore and Ryan Lewis, who shot a video on Broadway, and he has the Sir Mix-a-Lot lyric in there. He says, "My posse's on Broadway, and I did it my way." And Sir Mix-a-Lot makes cameo at the end of the video. So it all just ties up with a neat little bow. Elevator, great echo and acoustics. If only we could play a gig in that elevator before it closed down. That would have been a great gigging elevator. That would have been awesome. You'd be like, play a song and be like, 3rd floor, lingerie. I don't know. That would have been awesome. Oh, Chris, you don't like elevators? Dan's wife, Crystal, not a fan of elevators either. Okay, so finally, Alan Stone. The last musician I had on my list, however, I've added more elevator music. Elevator music never involved an entire band. An entire band could easily set up on that elevator, though. I don't know about running electricity. I guess they have outlet. They must have outlets because they had a light. Anyway, Alan Stone. So Alan Stone was one of the latest people to break out of Seattle. He is not from Seattle either. Here we go. All right, so if this is Washington State, Alan Stone is from here. He's from here. He's from way out in Okanagan County. So he had to come all the way into Puget Sound to break out. And so he became famous. Interesting. Make sure you check him out. Oh, hey, JW. Thanks for stopping by. We're talking about Seattle music. I've got like 4 more musicians to talk about. I thought I was on my last one, but of course you never really are you? Yeah, you wouldn't want to be in my living room hearing me do this. My poor office mate, oh my gosh. She would just try, is it west of Spokane? That's what I thought. She would try to like play some music, and she couldn't get any work done because every song that came up on Pandora, I had something to say about it. So she has to wear headphones in the office with me, or she will hear an explanation of every song that plays. Hey, Gone to the Snow Dogs. Hey, Jess. Hey, girl. Hey. We just already talked about grunge. I'm so sorry. Sorry you missed that. But we are talking about Alan Stone. Please check out Alan Stone. His bass player that he's touring with, his name is Tyler Correll. Nickname is Taco. And he was in my friend's band. He came out of Puyallup Church. That was kind of a sister church to my church for a long time. And so I followed him since he was just a wee little lad. So make sure you check out Alan Stone, especially his video for Unaware. You can see Taco playing bass in that video, and then any of those touring things. So that's Alan Stone. Oh, also, I wanted to tie him back to Stacio Rico. Stacio Rico, the Christian singer that became famous in the early 90s, mid-90s, was his cousin. And he said, when I grow up, I want to be a musician like my cousin. And that's how Alan Stone came to be a local musician. Isn't that interesting? And when he plays sets here, like if he'll sell out like 4 nights in a row. It's okay, Jess. We all get distracted. We talked about Quincy Jones and Kenny G, but I wanted to make sure. Someone threw out Bing Crosby. Somebody Google that for me. I don't know if Bing Crosby is from Seattle. He may very well be. I don't know that one, but I'm not going to Google it while you're here. But that's a great one. I want to know if Bing Crosby's from Seattle. And the last one, I wanted to make sure that we talked about, I want to make sure we talk about Carol Kay. Carol Kay was a bass player That was a session musician. She started out on guitar and ended up playing bass. Oh, Ben Crosby's from Tacoma. Thank you, Marie. So that would be south of Seattle. So he is local. That is awesome. All right. So Carol Kay played bass. Oh, and I forgot Kenny Loggins. Oh my gosh. So Carol Kay and Kenny Loggins are both from the town that I live in. And I saw Kenny Loggins when he played at NAMM. So if you go through my old NAMM videos, you can actually see Kenny Loggins play. But also from here is Carol Kay, the bass player. She was a famous session musician. And so you have to check out some of her bass playing. She really changed the way musicians are. I mean, she really changed the way bass is played in a lot of sessions. And she's on lots and lots of recordings that you'll ever hear. So I'm looking here. Yep, Tacoma. Loggins and Messina. I love Loggins and Messina. Do you remember? Your mama don't dance and daddy don't rock and roll. That's Loggins and Messina. Kenny Loggins from Revere. All right, guys. So we got through all of the musicians I have down. Who did I forget? You gotta let me know. There must be somebody. We're right around 4:42. We usually run about 40 minutes. So we're gonna get some comments from you before we wrap this up. So many musicians from Seattle, and it does really, I mean, that part makes me smile, right? With everything that Seattle's going through. When I think about all the musicians, it really makes me smile. I can't wait until we're hearing music again, and we're back in venues and screaming our lungs out. They say singing is one of the last things we're going to get to do. Oh, yeah, we talked about Mclemore, Chris, yes, and Ryan Lewis. So many hit songs. Oh my gosh. Joel said Aerosmith. I thought Aerosmith was from California. I'm not sure about that one. But so many great musicians to talk about. We will get back on track for next week. So I'll be posting what movie we're going to talk about next week. I haven't picked it yet, but I will. Oh, here are some. Mother Love Bone. We talked about Queensryche, Candlebox, Abney Park, and My Sister's Machine. Thank you, Marie Winton. She knows more about music than I do. I really think so. I don't know how we ever found each other, but she is a blessing and a half. Okay. We compare flats versus rounds video. Yes, actually, Martin. I have a set of flats here. My son bought the wrong size flats and gave them to me. So I will do that. I don't know if I will have it done for Tuesday because that's my team here. Wow, they actually changed the strings. But this month for sure, flats versus rounds, Martin. You are absolutely right. I'm so glad I have you guys' feedback. I don't know what I'd do without you. That flats versus round video, I really have to do that. I forgot I have those flats. I was going to go buy a set. My son's like, you have a set. I gave you a set. Everyone should have that problem, right? To have a kid that's giving you flats. So the strings on the bass are wound out of metal. So there's wound ones, and then there's flat ones where the metal just goes this way. So I'm going to make a video about the two different kinds of strings and how they sound. And then I will have two setups on my basses, which will be cool when I want flats, I'll have flats. When I want wounds, I'll have wounds. Oh, Marie used to do photos of bands. That's why. Yeah, they make flat strings for bass. Fatter tone. That's what I'm going to see, Steve. I'm going to see if it is a fatter tone. I think the thing is, it sounds completely different when you slide, right? A warmer, more upright type sound, says JW, which is true. It's going to sound more like an upright. And when you slide, it's going to sound completely different because you can actually hear the wound part. And I haven't got to play with flats very much because they say wound sound better in a church setting, but since I don't have a gig, I guess it doesn't really matter, right? Let's see. Now, Crystal, the Anna Lover, is saying differences between ukulele and bass. My son is a ukulele player. So even social distancing, that would be a great video because I can actually just, have us both on a screen and we can talk about it, or he can be one of my people. We're allowed to have 5 people we're in contact with every week during phase 2, so maybe he'll just be one of my people. I might make him 6 feet away from me, though. I don't Don't get sick. Let's see. I know what movie you should do. You should review 8 Mile. Oh my gosh, Mom's Spaghetti. My son Regan can sing that song all the way through. He is so good at it. Oh, the copyright infringement that would be involved in that. But oh, it's so fun. Yes, I will write down review 8 Mile for the live stream. So my way of looking at these live streams. Oh, Martin, thank you for enjoying these. Here's the way I look at it. When I'm producing a video, one of my recorded, we call them canned videos. When I record a video and I make a video and I produce the video and I put it out to you guys, that's going to be right on my brand, which is bass gear and more. So it's going to be bass gear. It's going to be pedals. It's going to be a bass. It's going to be flats versus wounds. It's going to be, about gigs and stories around playing bass and all the really bass-focused stuff. But for this live stream, that is where I'm going to get to be a little bit off-brand, just a little bit. We're still going to talk about music, but it might be music in movies or music in a certain location. Maybe all the musicians that came out of Detroit. Oh my gosh, so many great musicians came out of Detroit, right? So, Cliff Burton, thrash metal Cliff Burton. I'm not that familiar with thrash metal Cliff Burton. I will write that down. Thrash metal. I mean, I'm familiar with thrash metal is, but not particular artists. I have a friend with a thrash metal band. So I feel like here is where we can stretch a little bit and we can talk about other things about music and it's more interactive where we're having a conversation. I'm not just kind of putting something down your throat. And sometimes it's hard for me to answer comments. I have a hated video that has zillion dislikes. And so a lot of my comments are peppered with things that are personal attacks. And so sometimes it'll bum me out. That's why I'll do a video where I catch up on comments and I catch up on all of your comments because sometimes when I go through the comments, it gives me anxiety because it's been years of just being told what a rotten individual I am in the comments. And so I just kind of associate it. And so that's why a lot of times I make a video and catch up on comments. Joel says I should do a video about Mopop. Mopop. What's Mopop, Joel? Mopop. Write it down. All right, let's see. This is fun. I enjoy this. Crystal, thank you for stopping by. This is more accessible, right? You could be a musician like Miller or whatever, or so many of you, or not be a musician and still understand what we're talking about. So this is more our the music, everything music part of my channel. That way we have a little bit of both. And I just like the interactive stuff. Chat never freaks me out. Just comment sometimes. Let's see. Check out Orion. Pulling Teeth and For Whom the Bell Tolls, as well as Clato. Oh my gosh. So Orion, Pulling Teeth, Clato. All right. Thank you. I haven't seen any bad comments. Oh, Uncle Yukon, you're not looking in the right place. Oh, Mopop, the EMP. I know what EMP is. Yes, of course. I love the EMP. Joel, we were at the EMP together. Yes, weren't we? Or maybe that was the year before. No, maybe you weren't there with us that year. But yes, it's time to head back to EMP as soon as it's open. Flowers are better for short scales. Want to try. Would like to see the comparison video. Thank you for streaming. Cheers. Hey, the Color Hero. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Oh, Crystal, you're being sweet. Thank you. Steve, you can't beat up anybody for bullying me. This is YouTube. That's somebody's job. They spend their full time bullying people on YouTube. It's part of the deal. Oh, Modest Mouse. Modest Mouse, are they from Seattle too? Because I know that Minus the Bear is. I get them mixed up. I'm reading all the comments to the right here in the live chat. Did you go when Vlogger Fair had their party at EMP? Absolutely, I was there. Yeah, that was fun. That was in the big days of Vlogger Fair and the big days of the EMP. Now it's Mopop. Sea of Ashes was cool. Very cool. City of Ashes. Okay. 8 Mile. Because Eminem helped me so much with my music. Chris, I would love to hear an explanation of how Eminem helped you with your music. That would be a great thing to hear about if you always check to write that in the comments. All right, so we've gone way over. I tried to Ampeg or Fender bass amps. Yeah. Oh, you want me to compare Ampeg and Fender? I'll write that down. Our music store hasn't opened yet. They're going to roll out one store at a time, make sure that they can make money. They have 7 stores, and they're going to open each one at a time, make sure they're making money on one before they open the next one. So hopefully, when our Everett store reopens, I could actually just do a head-to-head. I'm going to ask their permission and just go ahead and do a comparison of the 2 amps. That would be an awesome video to make. Maybe right in the early days when there's not too many people in the store. There's just moms buying reeds, right? Have a great night, Di. Can't wait for next Sunday live. This was fun again. All right, so thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for checking in. Don't be afraid to tell me what kind of content you want to see. Neither Husky says the Postal Service. Okay. I'm really writing these down. Like, it actually takes me a second to think and write them down. So we're going to get together next Sunday. I will release this week what video we are going to watch, probably, and I will work on a video for this week. My goal is to get it out by Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday. I will try my best, barring any technical difficulties. I want you to remember to check out RFS Dan's trivia game show, Friday nights, 5 o'clock Pacific time, and Joel the Geeks, live from the Geek Fort, Mad Libs, and other geeking essentials on Sundays at 2 p.m. Pacific time. We're on Pacific time over here for our live streams. Do not forget to check out Gone to the Snow Dogs and Snow Dogs vlogs. Check out Mueller Husky. Check out Uncle Yukon and Loki the Siberian and Marie. Oh my gosh, check out Marie Winton. Marie, I need to buy some dog stuff from you. So that's coming. Jim Johnston. Check out Jim Johnston Rules the World. He's been cooking recipes, right? Oh, thanks for saying hi. We're just winding down. Anybody who needs to promote their channel, please go ahead and promote it in the comments, and I will read it out loud. I'm not trying to miss anybody. I'm just, trying to talk really quickly. When you're live, you don't want to leave big gaps. So it's easy to make a mistake. So I want to make sure that we don't miss anybody's channel. Martin, you have a great night. Hey, KJ Chicago 1, you're here. How are you? Hey, I had a whole bunch of medical tests, and everything came back that it was getting worse, but I'm fine. And I don't need any surgeries or interventions. So that's how everything came back. I have one more set of medical tests. So I've kind of got that hanging on the back of my mind, Okay, Oakley fan Becky, why don't you promote yours next week? Brand new. That'll be great. Oh, no problem with the shout out. Please, anybody else who needs a shout out, please put that in the chat and I will read it out loud. I don't care. I am really grateful for the help I've gotten from my friends and I want to be your friend. So, no brain bleeds. Yes, I'm trying to avoid brain bleeds. Doctor really actually wants to do a procedure on me that could cause that. So it's kind of funny. But he forgot when I saw him last time. So that's good. Yeah, I'm glad I'm okay too. I'm really high maintenance. I was never a high maintenance girl, but now I have like all the doctors and the hair. And Gina Morgan wants ice cream. I can make sure that we have ice cream in the next live stream. I don't think that's what she means. Let's see. I think Uncle Yukon had ice cream, right? Yes, before this started. Great night later. Yeah, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on here. I really appreciate it. You have cheered me up. There is no way that I can even explain how much you've cheered me up with everything going on. I have to cry during every live stream. There is a rule. And I can feel it coming now. So you guys, keep on playing bass. Thank you, KJ Chicago 1. Oh, Oakley fan, cookie dough ice cream. Oh my gosh. I ate a whole bag of Reese's chips that were supposed to go into cookies. It was a rough week. All right. Yeah, Chris Tiger Harris, you promote yours next time because I'm not familiar with yours. I want to check it out, okay? So this gives me a chance to see a lot of great channels. Yes, get your tissue ready. That's what I do, right? That's what you come to see, right? I tried on these. I tried these on. Now I'm famous at Mackie as the girl who cries when she tries on in-ears. So that's just, you know, the story of my life. I love you guys. We're going to get out of here. Oh, I haven't watched the new. I saw it, Jim. I saw that there was a new Rush video for Spirit of the Radio, and I haven't watched it yet. Is that something I need to do? I think that's something I need to do. Okay, I will do that. I was afraid. I was afraid to watch it. I didn't want it to wreck the song for me. Now you made me sad. Now I'm thinking about Neil Peart. Okay, we are getting off. It is almost 5. I'm letting you guys go free on my 40-minute live stream. Oh, well. The other week we were all waiting for Dan to need a bucket. Oh, yeah, Dan was going to throw up for sure. He was eating all pickled things and then chocolate. Chocolate and pickles do not go together. Canadian band, of course. We really love Rush here, Loki. Like, I made a whole video about Geddy Lee's book, Big Book of Bass. So, I am... Oh, and one last thing I have to show you. Just to make your week, take this with you for whatever it's worth. One, I have a unicorn that has rainbow tape that comes out of its butt. And I got my first Funko figurine. My daughter left this for me. Let's see, there's the good way to see it against the blue background. It's the Pusheen cat. Isn't it amazing? So there you go. Take that with you and the rainbow unicorn. Happiness, rainbows, and bass. I'll see you next week, 4 o'clock. Take care. Thanks. New software.